Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP EliteBook x360 1040 GB. Alright, I believe that's the model. Interesting. Okay, haven't seen one with a model number like that before. Let me get another thumbnail there. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to be using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, so we got two here, and then we got one on either side here. Alright, and then we got one on either side here. I'm assuming that they're hiding some screws underneath these rubber feet. HP likes to do that, so I guess we'll find out once we go ahead and try and pop the cover off. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish removing them. Alright, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, let's go ahead and see about popping this open. Okay, these rubber feet feel very solid in place, so maybe there aren't any hidden screws. Let's go ahead and see if we can pop the cover off. So I'm going to go from the bottom here. What we're doing is we're repairing the fan. I don't know if you heard that. I just turned it on and the fan just went bleh. So that's what we're working on. Okay. Oh, let's see if I can turn off and turn back on and see if it does it again. Is it turning on? I don't know. Oh, okay, you heard that. It started spinning. It was like grumbling and then it went bleh. So anyways, let's turn this back off. Come on, turn off. And then let's see if we can pop the bottom cover off. Oh no, it's going to boot itself. All right, anyways, I'm going to go with my fingernails along the gap between the bottom cover and the palm rest. And then I'm going to push on the palm rest itself and let's see if we can pop the cover. No, let's try from the side. A lot of HPs, they like to be popped open from the side instead of the front or rear. But let's see. I don't know. It's not seeming to want to pop out. All right, let me make sure to shut this down first. Okay, give me a second. I'll wait till it shuts down and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I don't know if you can see, but there's a gap here. I pulled on it a little and then it popped open on its own. So let's go ahead and continue working our way around and see if we can pop the rest of the cover up. Okay, so we're gonna pull up from here and I'm gonna slide my fingernail in here to see if there's any clips to pop. It's not working. Let's see if we work our way to the front. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm flexing the case like this. I'm pulling up with my fingers here, and then I push down with my thumb and the side of my palm there. And you can see that actually popped the whole cover out. Okay, so pretty simple to get out. There we go. Here's what the inside looks like. Oh no, I don't know which fan. There's two fans in here, okay? And one of them is making, I'm assuming it's only one. Okay, it's really dusty here, so I'm going to clean the dust off and then I will turn it on and see how it goes. Hopefully I can just pop these fans out and then repair them. Okay, it does look like there's little screws holding it in place, so yeah, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. As you can see, the fans are all cleaned up. Also, if you're wondering, the battery model number is right here, HK04XL. All right, the connector comes out from here. I don't need to take this out yet. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what else we got. Okay, well, just to be safe, I'm going to disconnect the battery because I'm going to be working with components and I don't want to risk accidentally shorting anything. So, oops, let's zoom in here. Okay, so the battery connector is right here. The way you get it out, I just use my fingernails, but you just wiggle side to side and there you go. And then you do have to lift the back of these connectors up so that you can get this out past the thing. All right, so there we go. Battery's disconnected. Now to be safe, we're going to open up the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right. I'm pretty sure I can already tell which fan is bad. My worry is the way it's failing is usually not going to be repairable, but we'll see. Okay. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so if you look at this fan and I try and move it, you can see how stable it is, okay? But if you look at this other fan, look, you see how wobbly that is? So usually what that means is the mount that holds it, the plastic is broken. And because of that, it kind of can wobble around. Anyways, let's go ahead and try and pop the fan out just to see if we can fix it. So I'm hoping I don't need to redo the thermal paste. There's 2 fans here. There's 2 screws here. Oh no, it looks like it's attached to the heatsink. Okay, as you can see, it's attached to the heatsink. If we're lucky, we can undo the screws here. So I'm gonna try undoing the little screws. I switched over to a PH0. I might need to use a smaller one, but it looks like the PH0 is working. Okay, so we're gonna undo these super tiny screws here. Okay, and we're gonna see if that will allow me to separate the heatsink portion from the fan and pull it out. The problem is the fan portion is underneath the heatsink portion, so there's a very good chance we're not going to be able to separate it. But let's see here. There's 1 more screw, so there's 4 screws. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to take the whole heatsink out. The problem is because we're going to also need a replacement fan. I don't want to have to take it out and redo the thermal paste and then end up having to buy a fan and then do it again. So let's see if we can disconnect the fan cable here. So the fan cable's right there. It's tiny. It might help to remove the SSD shield. So let's go ahead and pull this out. It says to pull this. I've never seen one like that. I'm going to try and just lift this up. Yep. Okay. So that helps. We're going to lift up that and pull this out. Okay. And I'm holding this down as I lift, so it's not just like bending on it. Okay. So I'm going to go under here and the same thing. Just pop that out. And there we go. We got this cover off. There's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. We don't need to remove that, but if you wanted, there's 1 screw. You pull it up slightly and pull it back. All right, let's see if I can now get this out. I'm going to use my little plastic tool as well to help pull on it, just because the area between the fan is very small. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to pull on that side and do the same wiggle thing as the battery. Okay, so there we go. We got that out. Again, the problem is the heatsink is over here and it's tucked underneath the board. So I don't know if I'll be able to lift this enough to separate, but let's see here. So you can see I can separate, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm separating the fan from the heatsink portion here. Oh, does it have a clip? No? Is there tape holding it? Something is holding it down attached. So normally you can like lift the thing and separate it, and then I was gonna try and slide the fan away from this thing, but it seems like it's not gonna separate. Screw here. Oh, is the screw going through only? I think the screw might be removable, separate, can be separated from there. No. Nope. Never mind. So how is this attached to the fan? So this, it looks like the screw actually needs to be separated from this whole thing. The problem is they put a washer there. Let's see if I can get it out by, you can see, or hopefully, oops, sorry. I'm getting my fingernail in there and pulling up, keeping pressure, so that way hopefully it's unscrewing from the washer itself. But it looks like that's not quite working. Come on. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. So the problem is the 2 portions, the plastic portion of the fan and the other portion of the fan are both in between the screw here. So unless I can separate those 2, I can't actually separate the fan portion here. I'm going to try getting a little tweezer in between there, or let me try with the flathead screwdriver. So I'll get a flathead screwdriver in between the 2 layers, and I'm going to twist this as I try and unscrew it. And hopefully, it seems like it's coming up, and there we go. I think that's out. Yep. Okay, so I need to be careful because there's the little washer under there. I don't want to lose that. Okay, but you can see now, or hopefully you can see now, we can separate the 2 layers. The thing is, they probably did that on this side as well. So again, I'm going to have to get the flathead screwdriver in there somehow. And while I'm undoing it, twist this to separate the 2 pieces. Okay. Seems to be working. All right, keep twisting, and there we go. Okay, so now we got that separated. I don't know if we can separate the fan or not. We'll try. The thing is, we have to lift this high enough for the fan to go past. Okay. No, I think it's going to be stuck there. Let's see. I'm going to try and use these needle nose pliers to grab where the fan wire is being routed through. And use that to kind of wiggle and pull it out. No. Most likely the whole heatsink is going to have to come up, sadly. I don't think there's a way. Unless we just bend it up. I think they also put adhesive to hold it. So even though it's separated, it's not coming out. I don't know if you can see the little plastic washer that I was referring to earlier. Let me try and get it out with the tweezers instead of pliers. What do I do with my little tweezers? Here we go. Oh. Okay. I'll show you the little plastic washer here. Hopefully you can see that. So there's the little plastic washer. Oh, oops, I don't know if you can see that, the white one. Okay, I'm gonna leave that in there. But sadly, it looks like we can't just pull the fan out. So we're probably gonna end up having to just put this whole thing back together. And then I'm gonna have to undo the thing, redo the thermal paste. Let's go ahead and actually just take it out and redo the thermal paste. So that way we can see if the fan is repairable or not. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and undo the fan connector here as well. Grab and wiggle. There we go. And we'll get this screw out. Get this screw out. You want to be careful when undoing or lifting. Oops, let me switch back over to the PH1, JS1. I don't want to accidentally damage the screws. Okay, we'll undo these screws. Okay, so usually you'll want to like wiggle this. Okay, wiggle this. Be careful that you don't bend these pipes. All right, and then hopefully we can lift the whole thing up and out carefully like this. Yep. Right, you can see all the thermal paste there. Actually, the paste still looks pretty good, so we don't need to redo that. But here you can see the adhesive. Okay, so here's the plastic thing washers I was talking about. Let's go ahead and, since we already took this out, put the screws back in. So let's see if we can actually get the screw back in while we're holding it up like this. Okay. So you can see the little plastic washer here. And we'll probably have to wait till we put this back in. You can see it went on a little bit, but when we go to screw it down, it'll have the whole frame pushing on it to help push it all the way back on. Okay, for now we'll just leave it like that. We'll get the other screw in there as well. Okay, oh actually, why am I putting that back? We have to separate it. Whoops, okay, never mind. Let's take this back out. I forgot, we do have to remove those plastic washers because that's the only way we can separate the fan from the thing. So we'll separate that and be careful not to lose the pieces. Okay, so as I said earlier, there is some adhesive under there. So you can see when we lift it, it's still getting caught on something. I think it's all just that adhesive. So we're gonna have to peel this adhesive away. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna use a plastic razor blade to do this. So we're gonna get underneath the adhesive here and just cut a little bit, and then hopefully now we can just peel it out. Okay, so here we go. All right, now that we got that, there we go. There's the fan removed and the dust. If you want to do the other side, you have to remove those washers as well. Okay, but we'll set that aside for now. Okay, so here's the fan. Again, it's really wobbly, so I don't know. I have a feeling it's not going to be repairable, but we can take this out. Okay, and this is what the inside looks like. Usually what happens is the grease in here is bad. I don't think putting grease is going to fix the wobbly issue. It probably got wobbly because the grease went bad and it was causing too much friction, and they just kept using it like that, and over time it just wore it out more and more. But we'll try cleaning it. We'll try putting some new grease and see if that fixes the problem. Okay, so we'll clean that. You can see how gross that is. It's very dark. All right. Usually that dark grease means it got all with metal contaminants or something in it. Okay, so get that. And then we just got to put a tiny drop of oil into that hole. So I'm going to get a screwdriver. Let me go grab some oil and I'll be back. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So you just want to use an oil that's meant for moving parts. I'm just going to use motor oil. Obviously, there's other oils you can use. If you have like those hair clippers and stuff, you can use oil from that. But I would think that the oil from this would last longer. So it's just regular motor oil, okay? If you don't have a bottle of oil, you can actually just get oil from your dipstick from your car. If you don't have a car, you can ask your parents. If your parents don't have a car, you can ask your neighbors. You just need a drop of oil. Just ask them for a drop of the motor oil. All right, and if you don't know what I mean by a dipstick, just Google it. Oil check dipstick, you'll find it. All right, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and put this back on. Okay, and we're gonna spin it around a little bit. Okay, it spins nice and smooth. Okay, but again, it's so wobbly, so it has me worried here that it's just gonna be screwed up again pretty quick. I mean, right now it's gonna be fine, but I feel like it's gonna go bad again pretty soon after. Okay, we're gonna put that back on. I was just wiping off some of the excess oil. Okay, you can see how well it spins there. So we'll see. I'll try running it and then we'll find out. This one already spins really well, but I don't know. Maybe I should check it since we already have this one open. Might as well do the other one. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put this back in, line it up. You can stick the adhesive back down. Okay. So since we did one, we might as well do both. We're gonna switch back over to the PH0, JS0. Again, if your screwdriver is too big, you might have to use the PH00 or JS00 screwdriver because these screws are super tiny. Okay, I like to twist it backwards first to feel it fall into place, but it seems like the plastic's too soft. It doesn't have any defined threads to the screws, so be careful not to tighten the screw too tight. Okay, you don't want to tighten it down too hard, and then you'll basically end up damaging the threads and the screws won't hold into anything anymore. Okay, so we're just doing it until the screw stops. Okay. This guy. Alright, so there we go. We got that all reassembled. Let me see, I should maybe bend it back a little bit because I did make it bend the other way. Okay, so there we go. It's good, it's flat again. All right, let's go ahead and undo this one. We are going to have to take the little washers off of this. Again, it's a little bit difficult, but let me show you. The best way to do it is after you remove these 4 screws, then you can kind of get wedge in between. But it might have been better when I had it still in the computer itself. There's the 3rd screw. Is there a 4th one missing somewhere that I didn't notice? I don't see it on this side. So this side seems to only have 3 screws. The other side has 4. I wonder if it's known for this one to fail. That's really strange. Also, I just noticed something that I didn't notice earlier. I don't think I caused that, but you see right where the screws are? It's like weirdly colored on both sides. That's strange. Okay, anyways, let's see about separating this. So we're gonna have to push the screw through the other side, okay? And again, it helps to basically use the screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, wedge it underneath. Let's see if we can do it on this one as well. I'm gonna switch back over to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. So we're gonna get under there. Okay, and we're gonna try and unscrew this. Oh, I can't even get it under there. Come on. Wow, this one's, for some reason I can't get in the gap. There we go. Okay, so I'm in the gap now. Oops. Come on, get in there. Yeah, it's easier when it's mounted in the laptop. This is gonna be tough. I'm gonna just try and push it through here. Okay, so let's try and just push it through the other side. Okay, kind of works. And then once you start it, you can get underneath the plastic piece and you can peel it out. Okay, there we go. All right, and then we can get that screw out. And then same thing on this side. We're gonna have to push it through. You do wanna support the back, okay? So that way you're not just putting all the force into the thing. But once you can get underneath this clear, or it's not really clear, but the plasticky washer thing, then you kind of just get under and pry it around it. Okay, let's see if it's easier with the flathead screwdriver. And you want to be very careful not to bend the heat pipes, okay? Right, and just keep working your way around. It will slowly walk its way off the screw. Once you get enough of it up, then you can kind of go under and try and help pull it out. Man, this one's tough. Okay, I'm getting underneath there, and I'm going to twist the screw as I unscrew it. That puts pressure to hold the white washer thingy in place, and then it lets you unscrew. There we go. There's the screw. There's the washer. Okay, let's go ahead now and remove this fan as well. Okay, so you can lift it same as the other one. We're gonna have to use something to peel this up a little bit. Okay. Come on, why is it stuck so strong? This one, for some reason, is stuck a lot stronger than the other one. Come on, peel that adhesive out. Okay. I'm gonna peel it from the heatsink side just because it's easier. Okay, actually it's peeling both now. There we go. So peel that out. Alright, now that we got that, we can separate the fan and let's see if it comes out. Yep, comes out just as easy. So again, we're gonna clean this and then add a little oil to that. Same thing, I just clean off the little shaft there. And you can see this one doesn't have any of that black gross stuff. So yeah, the other one, it got pretty bad. And that's why it's so wobbly. It was having so much friction that it wore down the metal. All right, we're gonna put a little drop of oil in there as well. Okay, it doesn't need much, very, very tiny amount. Like a actual drip is too much already, okay? All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this back on. Okay, you can see how well it spins. Simple, we'll go ahead and get this back into place. Stick this back down. It's not gonna stick down perfectly because it's stretched a bit, but it's okay. All right, If you want, you can put any tape here. Some people are like, oh, if you put some like regular tape, it's gonna overheat and melt. Like, don't worry, it's not gonna melt. Okay, you can use any kind of tape there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get these screws back in. Again, don't over tighten it just until it kind of stops. Because if you tighten too much, the plastic that it's screwing into is just gonna strip out, and then the screw's just gonna spin non-stop. Okay, there we go. And the last one here. Okay, now let's go ahead and put back the little washers. We'll switch back over to the PH1, JS1, and we'll get the screw in through there. And this thing will pretty much hold that all together. All right, we'll get the little washer piece and then stick it back on top and then just push it. Okay, you don't need to push it all the way, just enough for it to kind of go past the first few threads, because when you go to screw it in, it's gonna pull it all the way in, okay? So that's already enough. You can see how little of the thread it went on, but that's okay, because again, when you go to push it into place and screw it in, it's gonna go ahead and push that the rest of the way. Oops, make sure to hold that in place. And again, you wanna be very careful not to bend the little pipes that are going from the heatsink to from the CPU area, okay? Because if you bend those, it's not going to cool your computer properly. All right, there we go. Got that in. Get the other side. Oops. Oh no, those white things are so small. I think I knocked one somewhere. I don't know where it is. Uh-oh. I think I lost one. Where'd the other one go? I'll stick this guy back on. I'll try and find it. They're not necessary, but they do make it... Actually, I mean, they make it a pain in the butt, but... Where'd it go? I for sure had all four here. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to see if I can find it. If not, we're going to have to live without that one. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It was still stuck here. Okay. Anyways. Okay, let's get this guy back in, the last one. Okay, we'll get that stuck back on. Okay, so now we got the two on each side. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. If the paste is still very soft, I'm going to actually reuse it for at least for testing. But let's go ahead and see. Okay. So I'm going to use this little plastic scrapey tool. The paste is still pretty soft. You could probably reuse it, but let me see. We'll test first and then we'll redo the paste, because I want to make sure. You can see how the paste is still relatively soft. You can kind of like form it into a ball up here. That's so much paste. You don't need anywhere near this much thermal paste. Okay, they way overflowed here. Okay. So I'm going to put this for now, and then we're going to clean it off and then reapply the paste once we test it. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and get this back in. To get this back in, you just slide these portions back underneath here. Okay, lower that down. And then we're going to go ahead and get these screws. It's going to be a little bit tricky because, again, the washers aren't all the way on. But there you go. Just twist backwards to get it into place, and then go ahead and now twist it back in. All right. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and plug the connector for the fan back in. Make sure it goes in straight into the connector. Same thing for the other side. Make sure it goes back in. all the way, good. All right, don't forget these. They do number it. So this is the first one here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, we'll leave the SSD thing off for now because we are gonna have to take this back out. And let's go ahead and get the battery connector in. It helps to pull this up above the battery, and then get this lined up, make sure it goes in straight. And again, you want to pinch together like this. All right, the reason why is if you just push it straight that way, this connector can rip off if the solder is not good. All right, so you saw the fans already spinning on their own. Is it turning on? I do see the power light is on. So let's see. I didn't hear the noisy fan issue of before. Honestly, I should actually not reattach the heatsink, so that way it'll speed up faster. So it'll heat up and the fans will spin faster. But there you go, the fans are spinning and they're super quiet. You hear that? Okay, they are spinning fast, but they are quiet. Okay, there's no more sound. Okay, and also because we disconnected the battery, it acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. So usually when you first turn it on, it's going to take a while because it's reloading the BIOS and everything, and then it's going to show on the screen that the date and time was reset and all that. But the weird thing is it powered itself on. I didn't touch anything with the power button, so I don't know. Hopefully that's what it's doing. Let me see. Did I mention all the components here? No, I didn't. All right, so you got multiple parts here. This one's most likely for the touchscreen digitizer. Okay, there's a flip latch if you're going to mess with this, and if you're going to mess with the LCD LVDS connector over here. It's very important. Disconnect the battery, open the laptop, and press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. All right. Oh, I'm wondering if it's because of these switches. Oh, see, remember how I was saying that the fan was wobbly? If you move it, you can see it's still touching there. So that's not good. So we are still going to need to get a replacement fan to fix it properly. Otherwise, the wobbliness is going to cause it to like touch that when it's moved around. But yeah, anyways, the digitizer screen, again, if you're going to mess with that, you do want to disconnect the battery and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. All right, you got a little connector here. I'm assuming it's another M.2 SSD slot, but I'm not sure because the screw goes all the way over here. But it's not a full-size one, it's a shorter one. All right, you got a connector here that connects the headphone jack and the USB port here. All right. And what else? You got a little speaker connected here. Then you got a wire running down to the other speaker here. Okay, same thing with the other side, little speaker here, and then a bigger speaker here connected to the motherboard logic board here. Oh, okay, it finally started. Post error. The system time is invalid. So that's pretty much the BIOS was reset. So you press enter to start it up, and it should eventually be fine. You do want to set the date and time again. But yeah, other than that, that should be it. All right, I'm not going to pop everything else out, but I'm pretty sure this is the keyboard connector. Pretty sure this is, yeah, this keyboard backlight connector. There's a separate one here that says NEC. So that's not being used anything, but, or sorry, NFC. So that's it. Some models have an NFC connector, right? You can see the computer starting up. And then you got two connectors here. This one says JTP, so this one's the touchpad, and then this one says, what? JFP1, so that's the fingerprint reader. Okay, and then wireless antennas. Wireless card is soldered to the motherboard here, and the antennas are attached underneath this plastic piece. Okay, and then the RAM, you can actually see it says DDR on this metal plate right there. Okay, so DDR RAM is actually soldered to the motherboard. And I think that's pretty much it. All right, the computer is starting up, so it should be fine. It's saying it's Wednesday, March 19th, 1:06. It's that date and time's wrong. But anyways, let's go ahead and shut it down. It looks like we, for the most part, fixed the fan, but the real fix, because it was like bad for so long, it was actually grinding and damaging the fan. So they do technically need a new fan. I'll let them use it for now, and then they can decide what they want to do. It'll technically be okay as long as they're not wobbling it around, moving it a bunch. But yeah, all right, so let's go ahead now and disconnect the battery again. Okay, again, we do need to lift this up so we can get it out. And then I'm gonna press and hold the power button again. Some people ask me, do they need to do this? It's 15 seconds, okay? Just take the 15 seconds and you're less likely to destroy your computer, okay? Even if you wanna be extra safe, you can hold it longer, 30 seconds or something. Just as long as you make sure to hold it down for at least 15 seconds, you should be okay, okay? All right, so that should be good enough. Let's go ahead and undo these screws, clean out the old thermal paste, reapply new thermal paste, and then we should be good to go, at least on a temporary sense. Okay. And the two fans are different, so keep that in mind. Again, on this one, the 4 screw fan is bad, the one that has 4 little screws that hold it in place. So if you're able to find like spare fans alone, keep in mind you're going to need the one that has the 4 screws. Okay, let's go ahead and pop this back out. I do need to use that to make it easier. Oops, I'm putting thermal paste on everything. There's still thermal paste on this. Okay. Clean that out. Okay, so there we go. And then we'll disconnect this one as well. All right, now we'll lift this up. And because we disconnected the fan again, obviously, it's going to be bad. You could get away with reusing the thermal paste. You can see how pasty it is. It's okay. So you could technically get away with reusing this thermal paste. It's not too bad. But if the paste turned like solid, you actually want to repaste it. Don't try and reuse it because you're going to end up bending your heatsink trying to have the heatsink spread the thermal paste out. Okay. And also it's not going to transfer heat well, so it's going to run a lot hotter. All right, I mean, if you can, I would replace the thermal paste on this because it's not completely soft pasty. It's a little bit dried up, but not to where it's not reusable. So anyways, it's always good practice to replace the thermal paste whenever you take it out. But again, in a pinch, you'll be okay with reusing this paste if it's still soft like that, okay? If it's all crumbly, flaky, then you definitely want to replace it. So there we go. Got that out. Okay. Now we're just going to wipe off this area here. And it helps to use some isopropyl alcohol to make sure it's completely clean. Although this paste is actually cleaning up quite nicely. You can see how clean it looks already. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off as well. Again, be very careful not to bend the pipes. All right, looks pretty good. We're gonna use a little isopropyl alcohol so that it cleans up better. Let me go grab that, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and we're just gonna wet the paper towel a little bit. Okay, just like that. And then we're just gonna clean that off. Dry it up. Clean that off and dry it up. There we go. All right, so all that's left is to reapply the thermal paste, reassemble it, and we should be good to go. Because the CPU is so tiny, you don't really need much paste here. So let me show you here. All right, there's a little dust still stuck on it, so let me brush that away. Okay, so we're gonna put a little bit here, so just squeeze some out. And there, that's already plenty, okay? And because it's slightly like a rectangle, we're gonna kind of make it a little bit elongated. All right, and then we need a little bit on this side, even less, because this piece is even thinner. So just make like a thin thing here. All right, and this one you have to spread it even further out to make sure it goes all the way. All right, and if you're wondering, it doesn't look like that much, but it smushes super flat. So yeah, you don't need a huge amount. All right. On this, because there's nothing all around it, it's okay to if it overflows. But oops, it's okay if it overflows in terms of like causing damage to the computer. But if you have a whole bunch, it brings the heat outside of where the cooling area is, and it's not going to cool as well. All right, so we're going to now get this back in. Zoom out a bit more. Okay, going in at an angle like that. And then we'll get this. All right, then we can go ahead and twist that backwards. Like that. I loosely fit it first just to make sure everything lines up. Okay. And now we can go ahead and tighten that down. Oh, my screwdriver bit. All right. Tighten that down, tighten that down, and tighten that down. All right, again, we'll start with number 1, twist it backwards, hear it click, and then twist that all the way in. Number 2, click, and then twist that all the way in. Number 3, click, all the way in. Number 4, click, all the way in. All right, now we just got to get the fan connectors back in, line it up, pinch it back in, line it up. Okay, and pinch that back in. We'll get the battery connector in, but after we get the heat sink, or not the heat sink, whatever this metal plate is for the SSD. This plate isn't needed. I don't know why they have it here, but we'll just put it back because that's how it was. Make sure it goes in between all the little thingies. All right, and then the battery connector, get that lined up, and then pinch the whole thing in. And now we just gotta get the bottom cover back on, and we're good to go. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Again, if it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right. If you saw, what you want to do is this bottom piece. It has these little hooks here that need to hook into that. So make sure when you go, you slide down like that, okay? And then you should see this gap go flush. Then you can work your way around and push all the clips back in. Okay, also, if you can't contribute to the channel that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More that I'm trying to grow. Same profile picture, but zoomed in. If you could subscribe to that, it'd be greatly appreciated. All right, you can hear that the computer turned itself on again. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and get these screws back in. And then we're just going to wait to make sure it boots up, and we should be good to go. But as you can see, that buzzing, whatever sound it was doing before, I didn't leave it on while it was doing that. But I'm pretty sure you know what I mean if your fan is having that issue. Right, so yeah, let's get the last few screws in, make sure it's completely on. Oh, this clip didn't go in. There we go. Make sure the clips go in all the way. You don't want the screw to just pull the clip straight down because then it can break the clip. All right, if you're wondering, I was pushing the case in this way as I'm pushing it down because that's the way the clip is facing. All right, get the last few screws. And I guess when you first turn it on, it goes like crazy. The fan's just spinning really fast. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, it's beeping at me. That means it's probably... Okay, you can hear how it does that when you shake it around. So anyways, we'll open this up. Oh, it was showing the thing on the screen. There you go. Okay, enter to reboot the system. And there we go. That's pretty much it. Again, make sure to set the date and time correct again. But other than that, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.